Today I'm going to be showing you my morning routine on what I do to prepare for meditation. It's not technically a stretch because I'm really just moving my joints and getting my joints in motion to prepare myself for sitting and meditation. Now I will admit, and as you will see in a few minutes, that I have not been able to reach full lotus position. I actually have to use a rolled up blanket to sit on to elevate myself to keep my hips below, or excuse me, to keep my knees below my hips. Which, if you don't know, I'm glad you're watching this video because it's very unhealthy for your joints for you to be sitting in a meditation position with your knees above your hips. So I will be discussing that as well in this video. So just let's begin. I'm gonna start out by rolling my neck and starting now. And reverse. I like to keep my eyes closed and my hands in front of me. Help with balance. And 30. Alright, next we will be doing the lower back muscles. This is where I have most of my issues at. I actually do have arthritis in my lower back. Minor arthritis, or it was minor when I had it checked out. Who knows what it's like now. But I refuse to take medication and go down that route. So stretching out the lower back muscles is very important for me in particular. As I'm sure with the way we live our lives, it's important to you as well. Alright, so 30 seconds. Can't tell you this, after doing that, my lower back feels a lot better. So I know it works. Alright, and then also important for my meditation position that I sit in is the hips. So I do a hip roll and go. So we're going to go one direction, and after 30 seconds, reverse that into the opposite direction. I recommend 30 seconds to a minute. The reason I do 30 seconds is because that is about where I found it to be most beneficial to me. And feel the burn. Feels good though. And the final stretch, let me just say that when I first started doing these, I used to do ankle rolls and, some other stretches involved. And now that I've been doing meditation for a couple years now, I don't feel as much pain in my ankles when I sit on them or cross them. So that might be something that you need to do in the beginning. Do some ankle rolls, or so the final one that I do, and this is the one that looks the funniest, but it does help a lot. It is the knee roll. So some of you girls that visit the clubs frequently might be better at this than some of us guys, but no judgment. So you want to roll the knees one way. Keeping your feet close together, about where you'd be standing if you was just standing. If you're like me, you might find it close to impossible to keep your feet flat on the ground while you're rolling your knees. But as much as possible, keep your feet flat without bringing, your heels or your toes off the ground while you're rolling your knees. Oh, by the way, in the videos that I've watched on pre-stretching for meditation, I haven't seen these techniques applied to meditation warm-ups, but I was doing moving meditation for a while, which is Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a form of moving meditation, and that's where I picked up the joint warm-up opposed to the muscle warm-up. And what sold me on it was trying it for myself. But what really got me into starting to see if it worked for me was, the gentleman in the Tai Chi video, older gentleman, really nice. I like the video. I wish I was able to still incorporate this in my daily routine. And I do absolutely plan on going back to it. But, he said something that kind of just struck, hit home for me. He said, your muscles can be repaired. Our muscles repair themselves. You hurt your muscle, it repairs itself. You hurt your joint, you're screwed. He didn't say that. He said, we hurt our joint, we could do some serious damage and lifelong damage. So that really struck home to me. I mean, that just makes sense to me. So I began warming up my joints instead of my muscles, not only when I do meditation, but also I do a second joint warm-up, and that's my daily exercise, my weightlifting, weight training. Out in my gym here, I actually do daily weight training, and I do not warm up my muscles for that. Incredibly, the joint warm up is what is beneficial to me, is the most beneficial to me. So I do a little more in depth of what you just seen for weight training. So that actually, if it works for weight training, it obviously definitely works for sitting for 15-20 minutes in meditation. Alright guys, I'm back. I wanted to go over a couple of things before I actually sit down into meditation. One, being comfortable is more important than how you look while you're meditating. I say this because if you're like me, you think it looks really cool when people sit in the lotus position to meditate. And that's actually what I am striving to achieve. However, I have been meditating for 2 years and I'm not there yet. And as you'll see in a moment, like I mentioned before, I sat on a rolled up blanket actually to make sure that I keep my knees below my hips, which is very important for joint health and the benefit of your joints while you're sitting in that position. You've seen people meditating before and they have their knees up in the air like this. They are not educated on the proper form of meditation. So another important factor that I would like to mention that I don't see a lot of people talking about, I've actually yet to see anyone mention in a meditation video upon my own research, is the benefits of emptying your bladder before you meditate. Right before I hit the record, I went and used the restroom. I drink a lot of water in the morning, as everyone should. Definitely, if you're not drinking water in the morning, you need to incorporate that into your routine. You've been dehydrated from sleeping overnight, so that is just, it should be common sense, but I found that a lot of people aren't aware of this. As I mentioned, when I sit down, you will see that when I do my stretches, floor stretches, which I haven't done yet, I will actually pull my legs in this way before I pull them out. So the reason that is because of the way your knees work and the way your knee joints work. You don't want to force it out before you've locked it into place that is beneficial for you to do so. I'm not a doctor, but so the information I've given you is out of my own research of what other medical professionals have advised, and also meditation videos. But in practicing this myself, I've come to realize that it is actually beneficial to do it that way. So you always want to bring the leg in and bend the knee completely before taking it out. And of course, if you try this yourself, you will see the benefits of that. You always want to be careful with the pain you feel as you're stretching or warming up, because there is a fine line. You're going to feel some pain when you're stretching, and as you should, especially if you're new to it, but it should not be a hot, searing, uncomfortable pain. A hot, searing pain. It should be more of an uncomfortable pain. It's not going to be comfortable at first. In fact, I still had, I had a scare a couple weeks ago where the first stretch I'm going to show you was where I bend my knees and then set backwards onto my heels with my butt on my heels, and go as low as I can. When I first started that, I couldn't go very low at all. It was basically just setting on my feet. But as I've been doing this for a while now, I've actually progressed to the point where I'm almost all the way down to the floor, and I actually can go down to the floor. But I'm pushing myself past that uncomfortable pain into that, oh, this might not be good for me pain. And you just have to be conscious of what your body's trying to tell you. And it's, the scare that I had was, I'm always pushing myself to that limit, and I actually had some knee pain for a couple weeks after that. And where I was actually, I'm 40 years old, so I definitely want to be paying attention to what my body's telling me. And that knee pain scared me because I'm, again, 40 years old. I'm like, oh, did I do something to my knee? Am I going to be doing my jump ropes one day? Because it's part of my warm up I do before my weight training. Am I going to be jumping on my jump rope and come down and go down from the damage that I may have caused my knee? Thankfully I just pushed myself past the limits of what I was used to, and my body was telling me, hey, settle down. So I eased up a little bit, and I've done a lot better since that day. So again, pay attention to what your body's saying. Don't push yourself towards a goal past what your body's capable of doing. Your body's going to tell you. If you're not paying attention to what your body's telling you, you can actually cause yourself to be further away from your goal than you intend. It's not going to do any good to damage your knee or hip or any other joint trying to get into a position that you think looks cool, only to have yourself wait for a year or more of recovery, or a lifelong time of recovery, and never get to your goal. So if it takes a couple extra months to achieve the stretch that you need to achieve to get to the goal that you're shooting for, take that time. Use patience, use your head, and listen to your body.